Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video. Like I said, I know it's been a week since I did a video. Just been really busy with a lot of stuff lately. And I figured I'd do another video for you guys. And it's going to be another top 10 video, as you can see by the title of this video. I figured this would be a good top 10 to do. I've been meaning to do this one for a little while now. And I figured, I got my list together for this top 10, and I figured I would share it with you guys. And, I figured, hey, this would be a good list to talk about. And I figured it would be on my top 10 favorite horror directors. These are just my personal choices for my top 10 favorite horror movie directors. I mean, there are so many good horror film directors out there that I could have chose from, because there was a lot of good ones out there. But these are like my personal choices for my top 10. So let's get on to the top 10. My top 10 favorite horror movie directors. So here we go. Number 10 would have to be a guy named Mike Flat. Sorry. Let me just regard that. I'll try to keep this simple. Tongue twister there. Number 10 is Mike Flanagan. Now you might be wondering, who is Mike Flanagan? Well, Mike Flanagan is one of my personal favorite horror directors working in the current generation. Mike Flanagan is a guy who has directed Oculus, Hush. That's probably my favorite film that he did was Hush. Before I Wake with Thomas Jane and Kate Bosworth, and he also did Ouija, Origin of Evil, and he recently did Gerald's Game with that was based on a Stephen King novel. And Mike Flanagan has done a lot of really good stuff, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next, like movie project wise, because Mike Flanagan is a great horror director now in the current days, and he really understands the horror audience. And Hush is my favorite film that he did. I think it was straight to Netflix, about a deaf woman who's getting stalked by this guy in this mask, and it's really a really creepy premise. And I think it was directed very well. And his other projects like Oculus and Before I Wake, Ouija, Origin of Evil, and things like that, Gerald's Game. Mike Flanagan is a great horror director, and one of my personal favorite ones of the current days. So that's why he's my number 10. If you haven't seen any of his films, I highly recommend you check out some of his stuff. Number 9 is James Wan. This is the same guy who did the Insidious movies and the Conjuring films, and of course he's gone outside the horror genre with Fast and Furious 7, Aquaman, things like that. But of course, you know him more for his horror stuff. Saw, the first Saw film, Insidious, the Conjuring movies, Dead Silence, and of course he also went outside horror back in the day too with Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. But his horror stuff. I mean, the Conjuring films are probably my favorite pieces of horror films that James Wan has done within the horror genre. I think they're both really well done films. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing with the Conjuring franchise down the road, because I hear they're planning on doing a Conjuring 3, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that story, because I think James Wan just has a really great horror direction. He really understands the horror audience as well, just like Mike Flanagan does. And I just think James Wan is one of the best horror directors too in this current days too. So that's why he's number 9. Number 8 is Sam Raimi. The guy who brought us the Evil Dead films. I mean, Sam Raimi, of course, went on to do Drag Me to Hell, and of course he was known for the Spider-Man movies. But when I think of Sam Raimi, I always think of the Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell as Ash. I mean, what more can you say about the Evil Dead trilogy that hasn't been said before? Sam Raimi did a great job directing those movies, and that's why he's my number 8. Number 7 is Lucio Fulci. Yeah, Lucio Fulci. This is he directed one of my personal favorite horror films, Zombie. Really great Italian horror movie. Lucio Fulci. Zombie is like one of my personal favorite zombie films of all time, and Lucio Fulci has done a lot of other stuff too, but Zombie just stands out to me the most for Lucio Fulci. Great horror director. I'm pretty sure Zombie was an Italian movie. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Italian. But I just think Lucio Fulci is a really good horror director as well, and I think Zombie just stands out more than anything. I'm really looking forward to also getting the Lucio Fulci Zombie Blu-ray. That's like a 3-disc collector's edition. I've seen it a few times. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like in HD, because I have the special edition of it on DVD. But easily one of my personal favorite directors, Lucio Fulci, in the horror genre. Number 6 for me is Dario Argento, the guy who brought us Suspiria. I feel like Dario Argento, and also he did a really underrated one with Jennifer Connelly, Phenomena. That's another great one as well. Dario Argento, when I just think of Dario Argento, I always think of Suspiria. And I was actually really impressed with the remake of Suspiria, but the true Suspiria is the Dario Argento film from the 70s. Because Dario Argento had a great style with that movie. It's a really creepy idea about a ballet school being run by these witches and things like that. It was just a really creepy premise, and Dario Argento, easily one of my personal favorite foreign horror directors. Which I think he's also Italian as well, so another great one too. Number 5, of course, is David Cronenberg. Easily my favorite film of his is The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. It's a great movie. Love The Fly. But he also has done a lot of other good stuff too. The Brood, Scanners, David Cronenberg, Videodrome, that's probably my second favorite film with James Woods. I love Videodrome. So, right there are 4 very solid films. The Fly, Videodrome, The Brood, and Scanners. David Cronenberg is a great horror director as well. I just think his best work still to this day is The Fly. Just a really great movie with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. The whole transformation scene is really well done. Very gross and nasty, but it's so cool though. It's like when he's transforming into the fly creature, it's just so cool. Really great effects, great special effects. And the love story between Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis is really well done. You feel sorry for Jeff Goldblum, things like that. And I just think David Cronenberg is a great horror director. The next 3 are really hard to talk about because these 3 guys are no longer with us anymore. But number 4 is George Romero, who's done Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead from the 60s, things like that. George Romero was easily the king of zombie movies. George Romero just has Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead are my 2 favorite films of his that he did for zombie film wise. I also really enjoyed Monkey Shines, the one that he did that doesn't get talked about that much. Monkey Shines. I think that's a pretty underrated movie. But think of George Romero, you think of his zombie films, and George Romero. I never got a chance to meet George Romero, sadly. I just heard nothing but great things about the guy. He seemed like a really nice guy as well. And it's just a shame that George Romero is no longer alive anymore. Really do miss the guy, and I really do enjoy him as a horror director. So he's easily my number 4. Number 3 is another one that passed away, I think, the same year as George Romero, later in the year. Number 3 is Tobe Hooper. Tobe Hooper, same guy who directed Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2, Poltergeist, The Mangler. It's a lot of other really good stuff too. The Funhouse, it's another good one. And Tobe Hooper, easily my favorite film of his is the original Chainsaw Massacre film. Then my second favorite is actually The Mangler, because it has just how crazy that movie is. I love The Mangler with Robert Englund. But nothing can ever top, for me, the original Chainsaw Massacre film. It's just a classic movie. Tobe Hooper had a great style with that movie. Things like that, with the cast, the look of the movie, the grit, the location. Tobe Hooper was another great horror director as well. So I really do miss the guy. Easily my number 3. Number 2, of course, is another one that's no longer alive anymore. Wes Craven. He's easily my number 2. Wes Craven. Wes Craven, the Scream films, People Under the Stairs, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Shocker. Just so many other ones as well. I mean, he even had a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when Jay and Silent Bob were on the Hollywood set, which I thought was cool. Because I think, because if you remember Scream 3, Jay and Silent Bob had appearances in Scream 3, and I think that was before Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Kevin Smith kind of returned the favor to Wes Craven because Wes Craven allowed him and Jason Mewes to be in Scream 3, so then Kevin Smith said, hey, why don't you make a cameo in my movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? And it's a really fun cameo, too, by Wes Craven and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. But him as a horror director, he was great. The Scream movies and The Serpent and the Rainbow was a really underrated one with Bill Pullman. The People Under the Stairs, Shocker. There's so many other ones that he did that I like. Easily my number 2. And, of course, my number 1 favorite horror director, because I have the DVD right here. Because I plan on doing a marathon of this guy's movies at some point down the road. My number 1 favorite horror director is John Carpenter. And I'm holding this up because this is my favorite film of his that he did. It's not a horror movie, but John Carpenter is without a doubt my favorite horror director. The original Halloween, The Fog, In the Mouth of Madness, just a lot of other really good ones too that John Carpenter did. I just think John Carpenter is without a doubt my favorite horror director. Because even his stuff that was not even a horror movie, like Starman, this film, and like Escape from New York was more of like an action movie, like a thriller. But like his horror stuff, Halloween, The Fog, In the Mouth of Madness, things like that. I just think John Carpenter has a really great style, and he's without a doubt my favorite horror director. So there you go. So those were my top 10 favorite horror directors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.